Give You the Sun, Chapter 5, Section 1. The Invisible Museum. Noah, ages 13 and a half to 14. The day after Brian leaves for boarding school, I sneak into Jude's room while she's in the shower and see a chat on the computer. Thinking about you, Rapunzel. Me too, Spaceboy. Come here right this minute, Rapunzel. Haven't perfected my teleporting, Spaceboy. I'll get on it. I blow up the entire country. No one freaking notices. They're in love, like black vultures and termites. Yes, turtle doves and swans aren't the only animals that mate for life. Ugly, toilet-licking termites and death-eating vultures do too. How could she do this? How could he? It's like having explosives on board 24/7 the way I feel. I can't believe when I touch things they don't blow to bits. I can't believe I was so way off. I thought wrong. So wrong. I do what I can. I turn each of Jude's doodles I find around the house into a murder scene. I use the most hideous deaths from her stupid How Would You Rather Die game. A girl being shoved out of a window, knifed, drowned, buried alive, strangled by her own hands. I spare no detail. I also put slugs in her socks, dip her toothbrush in the toilet bowl every morning, pour white vinegar into the glass of water by her bed. But the worst part is that for the few minutes every hour when I'm not psychopathic, I know that to be with Brian, I would give all 10 fingers. I would give anything. Self-portrait. Boy rowing madly back through time. A week passes, too. The house gets so big it takes hours for me to walk from my bedroom to the kitchen and back. So big that even with binoculars, I can't make out Jude across a table or room. I don't think our paths will ever cross again. When she tries to talk to me over the miles and miles of betrayal between us, I put in earbuds like I'm listening to music, when really the other end is attached to my hand in my pocket. I never want to speak to her again, and make this very clear. Her voice is static. She is static. I keep thinking Mom will realize we're at war and act like the United Nations as she's done in the past, but she doesn't. Portrait. Disappearing mother. Then one morning, I hear voices in the hallway. Dad talking to a girl who isn't Jude, who I quickly realize is Heather. I've barely given a speck of brain space to her, even after what happened between us in the closet. That horrible lie of a kiss. I'm sorry, Heather, I say in my head as I pad silently over to the window. Sorry, so sorry. As I lift it as quietly as possible, I climb out, falling to safety below as I hear the knock on the door and Dad saying my name. It's all I can think to do. Halfway down the hill, a car peels by me and I want to stick out my thumb because I should hitchhike to Mexico or Rio like a real artist, or to Connecticut. Yes, just show up where Brian is in that dorm, in a shower full of wet and naked guys. The thought comes out of nowhere and all the explosives on board detonate at once. It's worse than thinking about him and Jude in the closet. And better, and much worse. When I emerge out of the nuclear mushroom of this thinking, burnt to a crisp, I'm at CSA. My feet somehow got here on their own. Summer classes have been over for more than 2 weeks, and lots of the students who board are returning. They look like highly functioning graffiti. I watch them hug suitcases and portfolios and boxes out of car trunks, and hug parents who are peering at each other with eyes that say, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. I vacuum it all in. The girls with blue, green, red, purple hair shrieking into each other's arms. A couple of tall, weedy guys leaning against the wall, smoking and laughing and radiating cool. A ragtag group of dreads who look like they just tumbled out of a dryer. A guy walking past me with a mustache on one side of his face and a beard on the other. So awesome. They not only make art, they are art. I remember then the conversation I had with the naked English guy at the party and decided to take my burnt remains on a recon mission to the inland flats of Lost Cove, where he said that barking mad sculptor had a studio. Before too long, a few seconds later maybe, because trying not to think about Brian turns me into a superhuman speedwalker, I'm standing in front of 225 Day Street. It's a big warehouse, and the door is half open, but there's no way I can walk on in, can I? No. I don't even have my sketch pad. I want to, though. Want to do something. Have to do something. Like kiss Brian. The idea snags me, and then I can't get out of it. I totally should have tried. But what if he'd punched me? Cracked my head open with a meteorite? Oh, but what if he hadn't? What if he'd kissed me back? Because I'd catch him staring at me sometimes when he didn't think I was paying attention to him. I was always paying attention to him. I blew it. I did. I should have kissed him. One kiss. Then I could die. Well, wait. No freaking way. If I'm going to die, I want to do more than kiss. Way, way more. I'm sweating and hard. I sit on the sidewalk, try to breathe. Just breathe. I pick up a stone and toss it into the street, trying to mimic his bionic wrist movement, and after 3 pathetic tries, my whole thinking flips over. There was an electric fence between us. He put it up, kept it up. He wanted Courtney, and he wanted Jude from the first moment he saw her. I just didn't want to believe it. He's a popular douchebag jock who likes girls. He's the red giant, I'm the yellow dwarf. The end. Self-portrait. Everyone lives happily ever after except for the yellow dwarf. I shake it off, all of it. All that matters is the worlds I can make, not this toilet-licking one I have to live in. In the worlds I make, anything can happen. Anything. And when I get into CSA, I'll learn how to make it all come out half as decent on paper as it is in my head. I stand, suddenly realizing I could totally climb the fire escape that scales the side of the warehouse. It leads to a landing where there's a bank of windows which must look down on something. All I'd have to do is hop the outside fence without anyone seeing me. Well, why not? Jude and I used to sneak over tons of fences so we could visit various horses or cows or goats or a certain madrone tree we both married when we were 5. Jude was also the minister. I glance up and down the quiet street. See in the distance the back of an old-looking woman in a bright-colored dress, who actually may be floating. I blink. She's still floating, and it looks like she's barefoot for some reason. She's entering a small church. Whatever. Once she's inside, I cross to the other side of the street, then easily and quickly monkey up and over the fence. I bolt down the alley, climb carefully up the stairs of the escape, trying not to creak the old metal, grateful there's some kind of construction going on nearby to cover up any sound I may be making. I scoot across the landing and peer around the side of the building, realizing the ear-splitting sound I'm hearing is not coming from a construction site, but the courtyard below, where I believe the apocalypse has just occurred because, whoa, it's the scene after the aliens have launched a chemical attack on Earth. All over the yard, there are rescue workers in hazmat suits and face masks and goggles, wielding power drills and circular saws, emerging from and disappearing into white billowing clouds as they attack hunks of rock. This is a stone studio? These are stone sculptors? What would Michelangelo think? I watch, and when the dust settles, I see that 3 massive pairs of eyes are boring into me. My breath catches. From across the yard, 3 enormous stone men monsters are staring at me, and they're breathing. I swear it. My ex-sister Jude would freak. My mom, too. I need to get closer to them, I'm thinking, when a tall, dark-haired man walks out of the building through an entire wall that's pulled halfway up like a garage door. He's talking with some kind of accent into a phone. I watch him throw his head back in supreme happiness, like he's hearing that he gets to choose the colors for all the sunsets from now on, or that Brian's waiting for him in his bedroom naked. He's practically dancing around with the phone now, and then he laughs a laugh so happy it blasts about 1,000,000 balloons into the air. This must be the barking mad artist, and the scary-ass granite min monsters across from me must be his barking mad art. "Hurry," he says, his voice as big as he is. "Hurry, my love." Then he kisses two of his own fingers and touches the phone before slipping it in his pocket. Total whale dork move, right? But not when he did it, trust me. Now he has his back to the courtyard and is facing a pillar, his forehead touching it. He's smiling at the concrete like a total whack job, but I'm the only one who knows due to my stellar vantage point. He looks like he would give all 10 fingers too. After a few minutes, he pivots out of his delirium, and I get the first clear shot of his face. His nose is like a capsized ship, his mouth the size of 3, his jaw and cheekbones hefty as armor, and his eyes are iridescent. His face is a room overstuffed with massive furniture. I want to draw it immediately. I watch as he surveys the apocalyptic scene before him, then raises his arms like a conductor, and in an instant every power tool goes silent, as do the birds, passing cars. In fact, I can't hear a rustle of wind, the buzz of a fly, a word of conversation. I can't hear anything. It's like someone pressed mute on the whole world because this man is about to speak. Is he God? "I talk very much about bravery," he says. "I say to you, carving is not for cowards. Cowards stick to clay, yes?" All the rescue workers laugh. He pauses, swipes some matchstick on a column. It bursts into flame. "I tell you, you must take risks in my studio." He finds a cigarette behind his ear and lights it. "I tell you not to be timid. I tell you to make the choices, make the mistakes, big, terrible, reckless mistakes. Really, screw it all up. I tell you, it is the only way." An affirmative murmur. "I say this, yes, but I still see so many of you afraid to cut in." He begins to pace slowly like a wolf, which is definitely his mirror animal. "I see what you are doing. When you leave yesterday, I go from work to work. You feel like Rambo maybe with the drills, the saws. You make lots of noise, lots of dust. But very few of you have found even this much." He pinches two fingers together. "Of your sculptures. Today, this changes." He walks over to a short, blonde-haired girl. "May I, Melinda?" "Please," she says. I can see how much she's blushing even from up here. She's totally in love with him. I look at the faces of the others who have gathered around them and realize they all are, male and female both. Portrait, landscape, a man on a geographic scale.